Chapter 18. Mary. Mary smiled as she pinned the fabric. She had never expected to find love in Sage Creek, but she felt like she was beginning to, with Henry. "You seem quite happy this morning. Does it have anything to do with your evening with Mr. Brown last night?" Elizabeth asked with a mischievous gleam in her eye. Last night he'd called on her for dinner and then whisked her away for a picnic at the edge of the creek. They'd talked long after the food was gone, and he'd brought her back to Mrs. Nelson's as the sky turned pink and orange with the setting sun. Now he was just down the stairs from her, and she found herself smiling at every movement he made, every word he spoke to a customer. "Perhaps I never expected to have someone interested in me." "Well, I told you it would happen," Elizabeth said softly. The door to the shop swung open, followed by the sound of running feet. "Mr. Brown! Mr. Brown, come quick!" At the breathless voice of Willie, Mary paused her pinning and stepped to the edge to see what the commotion was about. "What's going on, Willie?" Henry asked. "The other store! Someone broke in and stole merchandise." "What?" Mary could hear the alarm in Henry's voice, and she looked back at Elizabeth, but her friend had already stopped sewing and was making her way to the stairs. Mary quickly followed, and the two of them were right behind Henry and Willie as they exited the shop. The four of them made their way down the street, but no words were exchanged. A small crowd had already begun to form at the store, including the sheriff and at least one deputy. Suddenly, the owner pushed through the crowd, his face red and angry. "I know it was you, Henry Brown. What did you do with my merchandise?" "I did nothing with your merchandise, Charles. I didn't even know something had happened to your store until Willie came to tell me." "That's right," Willie said with a nod. "I just told Mr. Brown." "You may have them fooled, but you don't have me fooled," Charles continued. "Who else stands to gain from my shop going out of business?" Henry shook his head. "I may not have wanted the competition, Charles, but I would never steal from your shop to win." Mary couldn't believe her ears. Henry was no thief, and besides, the rearrangement of his store and the catalog orders were helping his business, so there was no need. Suddenly, the man's eyes shifted to Mary. "Then maybe it was your working girl." A gasp went up from the crowd, and heat climbed Mary's cheeks. "I knew something was off about you when you came into my store. You were probably spying for him and casing the store so you would know exactly what to steal." "You have no right to accuse her," Elizabeth said, stepping forward. "You don't know anything about her." "No, but I know her kind. She's got the look of a hard life, and she refused to answer questions about where she moved from. Seems to me the only people who do that have something to hide. So why don't you tell us what you did before you came here, huh?" "You don't have to say anything," Elizabeth whispered. "Now, Mr. Jones, you can't go around accusing people without some sort of proof," the sheriff said, raising his voice to be heard over the murmurs of the crowd. "Do you have any proof that Mr. Brown or Miss Lockwood was behind the theft?" Charles folded his arms across his chest. "Not currently, but I'm sure I will." "Well, when you do, then we can continue this conversation further. But until then, I suggest everyone go back to what they were doing. I'll handle it from here." "I've started catalog orders at my store too, Mr. Brown," Charles hollered as the crowd began to disperse. "Whatever advantage you thought you had is gone." Though people began to walk away, Mary knew the damage was done. She could feel it in the furtive glances cast in her direction as they left. "I'm so sorry, Henry," Mary said, as they began walking back to the shop. "I didn't mean to make things harder for you." "You have nothing to be sorry for," Henry said, taking her arm. "Charles Jones is a hothead, and he doesn't know what he's talking about." I know, but all the people there heard about my past. What if they stop coming to the store because of it?
No, those people heard his opinion of your past, and I think the people will see that. I'm not worried about business, so you shouldn't be either.
But he's doing catalog orders now, too.
Don't worry about it, Henry said. This is in God's hands now.
Mary wished she could share his confidence, but she knew how judgmental people could be, and she didn't want that to happen to Henry.